Welcome home, neighbors.
Welcome home, neighbors.
Hello, neighbors.
We're listening from
Arizona,
Florida,
Maryland,
New York,
New Jersey,
Indianapolis,
California,
Utah,
Michigan,
Iowa,
Massachusetts,
Georgia,
Canada,
our home resort is
Animal Kingdom,
Polynesian,
Bay Lake Tower,
Old Key West,
Riviera,
Boardwalk,
Alani Resort,
Hilton Head,
Boulder Ridge,
Copper Creek, Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs,
Beach Club,
and Wilderness Lodge.
and you're listening to
and you're listening
You're listening
to
to my
my
voice. Well, welcome home, everybody. My name is Chad Pennycuff. I am your host tonight for the Community Hall Live here on April 18th, 2021. And before we get started in today's show, I'd like to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, DVC Rental Store. If you've got some extra points and you'd like to put some cash in your pocket, demand is starting to heat up and the requests are coming in. Remember, a lot of those renters are really savvy. So they're starting to book their summer vacations now and get them in the books. We're starting to see things for May, June, July next year start to creep up. So you've got plenty of time to use some of those points and put some cash in your pocket. If you've got some extra points, maybe you couldn't go to pandemic, maybe you didn't feel like going in the pandemic. You got some extra points, let's go ahead and do some 11-month bookings and put some cash in your pockets. Also, they've also got a great cruise program as well. So if you would like to rent some points out and flip those into a cruise swap, you can get about double the point value from the rental store as you can booking a cruise swap through Disney. DVCRentalStore.com. Let them know you heard about them here on the My DVC Points podcast. So let's welcome to the show a regular team member of ours, Marianne. So, hey, Marianne, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. It's good to be here tonight, Chad.
I'm glad to have you back as well. And let's bring back another co-host as well. Let's welcome back Brad to the show. How you doing, Brad?
Doing good, everybody. Good to be back home. At least almost talking about it anyway.
Oh, yes. And then we'll welcome back from last week, Amy Meeker-Taylor. How you doing, Amy?
Good. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you back. And then we'll bring back in somebody named Caleb, Caleb, it's been a little while since you've been on. So
yeah, it's been a little bit,
back,
but I'm glad to be back. Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
And tonight we are talking all about the post-pandemic perks, okay? So our first question is tonight, we're going to hit three of them, but what are the good perks that Disney kept during the pandemic? Last week we kind of maybe complained a little bit. So this week we're trying to come back in and be a little more positive and say, what were the perks that we kept during the pandemic? And so what are some of the best things that we've kept that you guys are really excited about? Marianne, do you want to lead this one off?
Well, I have to appreciate that they did not ever close my Epcot Lounge. So my Epcot Lounge has been there ever since the reopening, and I really appreciate my midday break and my free Diet Coke. So.
Okay. We'll talk about that a little bit later, okay?
Oh, wait, was I not supposed to talk about that?
No, that was yours. That's good. I'm going to bring it back up a little later, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wait, that was mine.
Yep. Brad, what are you thinking here? And what are you guys thinking out there that are listening? What are the perks that we kept during this pandemic that really just had some value to you, or you're glad that they kept, or they're still here, okay? Because last week we talked about everything that got taken away, so this week we're talking about what was here. And that makes sense. So, Brad, what are you thinking?
Yeah, and that's what's great about the community. We love to hear what you have to say, because it really is. Listen, Marianne, it's about what we individually like. It's really not about whether somebody else likes it or not. And I know the one that I'm about to pick. Some people don't really think it's that big of a deal, but they don't live in the city I live in, or we don't have a single good bowling alley to go to. If I don't bowl at Disney, I don't bowl. And we still, as a family, it's not like I'm a good bowler, but it's just a fun activity. And so when Splitsville started doing the special plan, when they first did it, it seemed to be a much better value. Now it's kind of like the dining plan. I don't know that the value is completely there, but you do get to bowl. I think it's like for 2 hours, and then you get your meal and an entree and an appetizer and a drink. And so it's the members special deal at Splitsville that has come back. And so I'm looking forward to doing that again.
I think we'll have to try that out sometime, Brad. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Is that still going on right now? Because
Well, that's what I'd heard. That's why I brought it up. I saw it posted somewhere. Now I didn't check into it most recently, but it doesn't show as being temporarily unavailable online. And I swear I
Okay.
saw somewhere where they said they just started to back up. So
Okay, because the member events calendar is completely blank. There used to be a really cool calendar online
yes,
that had everything that was going on.
and
You could just go
can't
look
trust
at your
it for anything
vacation
now.
and see it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's got nothing. Nothing.
But I thought for sure I saw it somewhere reputable where they said they started up. So, I mean, I won't bet you on it, but that's what I'd heard. So,
Okay.
how about you, Marianne? I'm sorry,
Amy.
Amy's next. Marianne already said her thing. Amy, I'm looking right at Amy.
So I appreciate that we still get the discounts on dining and merchandise and also free laundry because sometimes I do stay in a studio. I like getting my free laundry.
Mhm.
But one of the things I don't think a lot of people think about, and maybe we don't think about it as a perk, but Disney has the right to take away our borrowing and banking altogether, right? It says in our contracts they could take that away altogether. So I
Yep.
think we should be pretty thankful that they didn't take that away.
Yeah.
That we still have at least 75% of the privileges there. So.
Yeah, we can bank 100% and
Mhm.
we can still borrow 50%. So,
Mhm. Yep.
and I think, like we talked about last week, I think now is getting into the time where that really makes sense. Okay.
Well, and Disney was so flexible with everybody during the height of the pandemic with your points. I mean,
Mhm.
really, overall, they bent over backwards and they didn't really need to. I mean, they could have said, well, it is what it is,
Mhm.
but I mean, they did. They worked with everybody, and that was, that was something they didn't need to do. So,
And all that, and people need to remember that a lot of that's going away on April 30th. A lot of those flexibilities are going away April 30th. So if you're on the fence about canceling a vacation or something, you might want to make up your mind.
Might want to pull the trigger before April 30th.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Absolutely. That was a really, really nice thing that they did. That was probably the best perk that they came out with,
Yes.
was that added flexibility.
Mhm.
Okay.
Agreed.
Which is really kind of a, hey, if you've got COVID symptoms, just stay home. Like,
Mhm.
really,
Amen.
please,
Yeah.
just stay home.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry about your points. Stay home. Okay.
Amen.
Caleb, what are you thinking?
Well, kind of like what Amy just said just for a moment, I really appreciate that we still have the discount on dining. I just had a week-long trip, and my Tables in Wonderland card is no longer available, and I was still able to get 10% off. And the with them not giving out APs right now, I mean, it's kind of like, if your AP's expiring, the only way to get your discount is by having your blue card. So I'm really glad they still have that going.
Yeah, that is really cool. And I think the one that I appreciated most was the 30% discount that they threw out there.
Mhm.
That comes and goes from time to time. It's just like a little rare thing that pops up. But when it popped up this year, I was able to buy Laura a DVC Dooney and Burke that was like 200 and some odd bucks before the discount. So they knocked over $60 off of that purse, and which is an insane amount of money to spend on it. But I look at it like, yeah, she wanted it. It makes her happy, and we could afford it. So I'm really, really glad that that is there. And if you guys are wondering about discounts, I got to give a shout out to our buddy Micah, who runs the website mouseperks.com.
Mm-hmm.
So that is just an incredible, incredible site that you need to lean on more now that Tables has gone away or temporarily suspended. We don't know if it's coming back, but you can go over to mouseperks.com. Micah keeps that thing up to date. All kinds of people give him feedback, and he's always updating it and does a wonderful job with that. So
I totally agree with you, Chad, about that 30%, because it happened to hit while we were actually in the parks in February. And so Katie got 30% off that discount on her droids. And we got that she bought, that didn't count on the lightsaber, but it did on the droids. And I bought like a whole bunch of hats, which is we don't typically do a lot of ears. We do more baseball hats, and 30% off of those $30 baseball hats, it makes them a pretty decent deal. So that was a good one.
Yeah, so let's just circle in on some of the listener comments here as well. And Mark Koppel is with us. He goes, I'm thrilled that we still get the discounts.
Yep.
And Vicky was saying DVC discounts on food and merch. Yes, 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 yes.
Mhm.
Another vote for the discounts. And then Rebecca brought up a really interesting one that I've only looked into because I'm not quite a golfer. But the DVC golf membership, the courses never closed, even when the parks did. And so they were able to get in 8 rounds and 4 lessons for free.
Wow.
So
Oh,
that was a really good, well, it makes sense because you're socially distanced on a golf course, right? You're kind of out there by yourself, and heaven help if somebody's within 6 foot of you. They're doing it wrong. Okay. Right? It's
Smack.
yeah, right.
get
That'll
off
teach
my
you.
That's a
shoulder,
gimme.
I'm begging.
So Lauren was saying that she heard that the membership bowling thing was back as well. Well, I will definitely be finding that out about December, January timeframe. I can put that on my list. And then Ron is saying 30% shopping discounts DVC offered. Another vote for that. And let's see. Judy was watching from Vero Beach. Kathy saying, I would love to see the shopping discount at 30% come back more often. I'm a serious shopper. Yeah, that could really, really come back in and do some damage on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, I got 30% off the art in February. I bought 9 pieces that were discount. Oh, that's a serious
Wow.
shopping habit.
Whoa.
Right. And
Wow.
Lori has another really great comment here is they kept the community halls open.
Yeah.
So they were still open. There were still some things going on in there, but they weren't fully shut down, which I'm with you. I'm thankful that those were open because I love me some good community hall action. There's just the staff there is just so wonderful, and the stuff that they put on, even if you have to pay for it, it's all very, very, very reasonably priced.
It is.
It's not like it's super inflated stuff. So really appreciate that one as well. So let's move on to our next question. And that would be, so which perks that were kept that shouldn't have been, okay? What was here in the pandemic it's just, they should have just taken the opportunity to throw this one out. Is there anything that you guys can think of?
Well, let's be real. Nobody likes to give away perks. I mean, I think we'd all agree on that one. But when I got an email the other day telling me that one of my perks was to book my Adventures by Disney before the general public, I went, yeah, no. First of all, until we know that COVID is really over, I'm not booking anything that costs that much money. And then, really? Come on, people. I was like,
One day early. Yeah.
yeah.
That's the other thing. One day early. It's like, okay. I'm good.
Like, okay.
And do those like sell out in the first day? I've looked at the one to the Galapagos because I'm super interested, but they don't like sell out right away, right?
I think there are some that are extremely popular that probably sell out pretty quickly, but I can't imagine one day, especially right now. Maybe in 2019, before COVID was on the radar, maybe they did. There were some of those trips that were like the Galapagos trip that's a once ever type of deal.
The Japan trip was another one that would just disappear fairly quickly.
All right.
Because it's limited. But nobody's traveling internationally. And so it's like,
thank you, Disney. I really love that perk.
But you can get that ABD to California backstage Disneyland.
There you go. Let me into
wait a minute.
Disneyland. I'll buy.
You got to be a California resident to get that because you can't get into Disneyland if you're not a California resident. What was I thinking? Like,
just tell me how much.
But like I said, even that, while it made me giggle, and I quickly sent that email to my junk file. A perk's a perk. So.
Okay. Brad, anything come to your mind here?
And honestly, when I was filling out the paperwork, I just said, I'm sorry, but no perks go away with me. I mean, it's like there's none. But I think you've made me a convert, Mary. I already joined in on that one. I just can't think of much of anything that's there that, I mean, there's things I haven't done, so I can't really say whether it was good or not, but I don't really know of anything to get rid of. That's just a pain. But I see you have an idea, Chad.
I certainly do. So, but I'm gonna circle mine and save mine for last, so that I
Okay.
don't kind of. But I mean, Amy, is there anything that you're thinking they should have just ixnayed? They should have just dropped, discontinued?
I can't think of anything other than those early bookings for cruises, or I just stop making such a big deal out of them, because like Marianne said, no one's booking a cruise, no one's booking an Adventures by Disney, because it's a lot of money to drop when you have no idea when it's actually going to happen. They just keep pushing the cruise releases back, and yeah, I could see maybe those domestic national
Oh no.
parks might become a little bit more popular, but I don't think anyone's booking them on day one.
So I hate to go backwards, Chad, but she just mentioned something, and I actually thought of one. I think
Okay.
I could see. I would be fine if they did away. And I'll give this a caveat: did away with the Disney Cruise Line members only cruises, at least in the format they're doing them now.
Hmm.
I love the idea. I would love to go on. I've wanted to go on one ever since I've been a DVC member, but they're just, I know they do some cool stuff, but they're just so expensive. If you want to honor us as DVC, make that cruise, put the bennies in there, but don't charge us like, twice as much to go on that one cruise. Make it a better price for us to enjoy.
I don't know, man, because
perks.
all of that stuff costs, and they have to rent the whole entire ship for that. So I get it that it costs. Like, I get it. I'm
just
like,
saying that's one. Didn't do away with it. It to me, I'll probably never get to do it. So
I'm
I
super,
think it pays
I'm
for
super
itself.
cheap.
So,
I'm super cheap like my neighbors. So, there you go.
but I mean, you don't have to go on it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It being in existence doesn't hurt you or hurt anybody
No.
else. So, okay.
Yeah, but that's
Caleb, what are
true
your
for all
thoughts
the
here?
perks.
Yeah.
It's true for all the perks. It
I
doesn't
don't know
hurt
about
you.
that.
But I was exactly the same. That the early booking for cruises, that was the first thing that came to my head. Even before COVID, I was just like, I know some of them sell out, but one day, like that's the difference. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I will go ahead and finally answer this one. And remember, I'm a call center guy. Okay. Remember the problem we all have getting in touch with member services, right? People are talking about getting busy signals, hours and hours and hours of wait time and hold time. It's insane. Okay. And they don't have enough staff and member services right now. Right. So, being a call center guy, I also know that the Epcot Lounge is staffed by member services. The people who answer the phone are the people who are there working. And they do their shift and they come back in and they rotate, a couple down at the podium, a couple at the top of the steps, a couple doing drinks, blah, 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 blah. I look at that and I go, there's got to be 10 to 15 people there. And as a workforce manager type guy, I look at that and I go, those 10 to 15 people could have easily been wearing a headset, taking 500 to 750 more calls per day from actual members. So did we really serve 500 to 750 people in the Epcot Lounge? Or would we have been better off as a member community keeping those people on the phones during this time when we can't get through? So I'm in favor of, for that reason, shutting down the Epcot Lounge until we get member services back to our normal call time and hold time. So that's the only perk that I could really think of that I was just like, that one should probably just go away until we can get member services back in shape. Okay.
Well, and looking at it, the math makes sense, but it's kind of back to some of what you were saying before. It's just like, how about you just hire 10 to 15 more people? There's a ton of people that need to come back to work. They're having a hard time. That's the tricky part, but I'd rather see them not cancel it and hire more people, but you're right. Maybe shut it down for a while until they get those people hired and then bring it back up. Might be smart, especially with the lower crowds. And that makes sense.
Yeah. Or at least Monday through Friday doing it. Okay.
Staff
on weekends or peak times or peak days, or cut the hours back to half a day only so that those members could do a split shift, 4 hours at the Epcot Lounge, 4 hours there. I would definitely be playing with that if I was in charge of that. But again, that just comes from my professional expertise in call centers. coming back in. So that's what I can think of. That was my only one here. Let's see if there's some comments from those watching. So, and Steve was saying, no matter how bad a perk is, it's still a perk, but is it the best use of the resources we have? That's my question. And Judy saying the perk of paying your dues all at once rather than paying monthly. Gina is saying that we shouldn't have kept the 50% borrowing. I know they can take it all away, but I'm a borrower. Yeah, I think it also led you to buy more points during this time too, Gina. So their evil plan worked. Okay.
And Gina, just so you know, I've been a borrower forever. This year I actually banked points. I wasn't even sure how to do it anymore. It's like,
yeah. And Ron was saying that so few were available. Every one of them mattered, so none. And Rebecca was saying that we definitely booked a cruise.
Oh,
Okay. Yep. And then, but once you go on that first cruise, Rebecca, that perk is no longer applicable. Okay. It's only for people who have never been on a cruise and never been on an ABD before. Because once you hit Castaway Club, once you go on one, your Castaway Club, you're the same exact day. Right? Grant saying just dreaming of using perks. He's stuck in Canada, and no perk is a bad one. Just some are better than others. And then Lauren was saying she agrees with Gina. I had to book a studio for my Copper Creek trip for one day because I couldn't borrow enough points for my one bedroom for the rest of my vacation.
yeah.
Yeah. And so that's going to cost, more cleaning to book a cleaner room for one night.
yep,
And then,
it is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Grant.
She might
Grant
get
says,
lucky though, and they might give her that one bedroom for that first night. She might.
Yeah, she might. She might. Very well could be if it's not booked up and available. Grant saying the economics of member cruises are they sell out in seconds, no lack of demand, and they had a lot of expensive extras and are less busy. I agree with you 100%. I do think they have those priced high, but it's probably worth it from everybody that I've talked to that has been. And then Polly was saying, that's interesting. She's never thought about that. I don't think anyone would disagree with that who has tried to get through on the phone. I think she's talking about let's get those that staff reallocated to the phones. Okay. And Chad says no Diet Coke for you. So
That's right.
No Diet Coke for you. No soup for you. No Diet Coke for you.
No Goldfish crackers either, right? Like, I guess I'll just have to pay retail for my cup of soda there.
With my 10% discount.
Yeah. Yeah. And Zach was saying, he fully understands the logic of using the workforce at the lounge for a more efficient purpose, but I love the lounge for a relaxation spot.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't agree with you more there, Zach. And I do think it's really, really, really cool that they put the people who answer the phones that we talk to there in front of us all the time anyways. So I think that is an incredibly wise decision. It gives them a little break from the monotony of strapping on a headset, taking call day after day after day. That gets really boring. So it's a great break for the members, or for the cast members. Also a great for us when those are the people that are answering the phone. So, and Kathy says, I'm just happy that they still allowed us to use one-time, anytime use points to create a second trip this year. DVC will gladly take your money for additional points because they have an excess of them as well. Mm-hmm. And so Happy Canadian says, just tuning in, if not already said back, we want Moonlight Magic back. Yeah, that was the whole wine last week. Okay.
Which leads us to question number 3.
Wait, Chad, real
does.
quick though. I think what this shows us though is that just like there's a DVC resort for every single person, there's a perk that fits the needs of every single person in the community. And, like we all kind of said, don't get rid of any of them, because just because it doesn't mean anything to you might mean my ABD thing might mean a whole lot to somebody else.
Exactly. Yep.
So.
Yeah, and that's a program that doesn't really cost anybody anything to implement, right? Maybe it's a little confusion and time on the phone explaining it, but there's really no hard cost to that. It's just like hey, you can come in a day early, And if you use a travel agent to do it, the travel agent knows how to go through with your membership card and push all that through. So let's move on to our third question here. I think Happy Canadian Guy had a great point. So during this pandemic, businesses are looking at things and they're kind of coming back in with a blank slate. And they're really reevaluating all of their programs, their services, their offerings. And so let's take that approach to DVC member perks and just ask the community, what perks would you like to see going forward? What's the top things on your list that you would like to see them implement for us as members? Marianne, any thoughts here?
Well, do you have all day? I mean, we could go on and on and on about
They
the
have to be
perks.
reasonable, right?
They have to be reasonable. Who's going to come up with reasonable?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Actually, I just really, really, really want the AP and my EP discount to come back. I think anybody that has ever had an annual pass that goes to Disney more than 7-8 days a year would agree with me that they want that back as soon as possible. And I would really like to have some of those events, any of those events. And I don't even mind if I have to pay for a little bit for some of those hard ticket after hours type events, because I enjoy that time. And while I'd love it for free, I also understand that maybe I'm going to have to, at least in the short term, pay for them. And please, I really miss it. I really, really miss Top of the World and my 7-layer cake. So would somebody please open it back up? Thank you very much.
Or at least let us get Top of the World cake down at the Contemporary Lounge.
I've heard
Right.
rumors that you can get it at the Wave,
I've heard that too.
but then,
Yeah.
man, I froze when I was whining face. Oh, that's
Say hi
lovely.
to everybody. So far, I think it's just Chad and me that haven't done.
Oh, and I usually never do that. Sorry, guys. That's really ugly. Let's see if I can fix that.
It
And
looks
I'm
like you're
rocking a
yelling.
laptop from
Don't
a
be
hotel.
so mad,
tonight, so,
Marianne.
yeah. Brad, what are you thinking here?
All right.
What
So while
perks
she
would you
gets
like to see
while she
coming
gets
forward?
herself together, there we want to give her a moment. Mine is I've never been able to do it, but I definitely want to see it come back and keep going because I want to do it, and that's the members only Soarin' tour, behind the scenes tour. Those kinds of things just really intrigue me. Anytime I get a chance to do that kind of thing, I'm going to jump on it. And then the Disney after hours, like was mentioned, the glowing. I would love to do one of those glowing in the park ones for the water park. I mean, those,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't mind paying for them. I mean, I've done one after hours, and it was definitely one of the better after hours parties I've ever done. And I won't say it's best because, your first, 4 times you do Christmas and it's by
They're
far
going to
the
start
best.
charging, and everybody's going to blame you and Marianne for this.
Yeah,
okay?
that's what's going to
Like-
happen. But anything like that, those are the things that I really want to see come back. And then, of course, this one's kind of a loaded one. I want to see the tour discounts for DVC people to come back, because that means the tours have come back. Bring them back. Okay.
Yeah, the tours are very, very, very popular.
Yeah. How about you, Amy?
So, Brad, I actually had the members only Soarin' tour booked for April 1st of 2020. Like, that was probably one that hurt the most when everything got canceled. I was
Nice.
like, I was on the phone at, whatever time you had to be on it. I don't remember how early you had to book it, but man, that one hurt. That was like a knife to the heart. For me, I would love to see more member events, and not anything fancy, but just things like Splitsville nights, where members can meet each other and just talk and do things. I feel like I have this love for Hilton Head, and I think part of the reason is the vibe is different, because almost everyone at Hilton Head is a DVC member, and it's not an exclusivity thing. It's just that we all get each other, right? We get each other's love of Disney, and it's fun to talk Disney with other DVC members. So I don't necessarily need the exclusivity of only hanging out with DVC members. I just want to hang out with people who get me. So, and unlike Chad, I'd love to see a DVC lounge in every park, but I understand the staffing thing. It makes sense.
I didn't say that. I would love to see one as well when we can staff them.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they could staff the one in Epcot with less people. Like, I don't think they need to have the person in there pushing you to add on another contract, or I think they could have maybe half the number of people, just someone to to check you in and someone to do the drinks and someone to bring the snacks. But
That's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
I just thought of a totally different idea. Did any of you get a chance to do the Club Villain special after hours event where they did it in the building back past Rock and Roller Coaster? Did you get to do that? Anybody? Oh, that was the funnest event. I'm telling you, I got some of the best pictures ever with the Evil Queen and these different, and the characters were so into it. And you're in this thing for like 4 or 5 hours. And then you go around, you eat all you want. I'm not a drinker, but people were drinking all they wanted. I know, because a couple of my table were like, okay, we're going to get a wheelbarrow to take you to. They were just enjoying it. But did you be around these tables and you chat and you talk, and then all of a sudden they come up and do a show, and there was a whole show through it, but it would do it in pieces. And by the time you were done, it was a very fun event. I say do that again, but do one like that, even if you charge, just for DVC. That would be really cool.
I think it would be really cool if they took that pavilion over at Epcot, right? The tent type pavilion, and they just made a mini DVC member only event in there that you could get tickets for and schedule, and right. But then a big thing out front saying, "Hey, look, blue card required." With, of course, the ASAs there going, "Oh, well, yeah, we'll be glad to sign you up for a tour." Okay. And then it's during normal park hours, and they can police it that way and just go, "Hey, look, this is the exclusive benefit for our members," and use that as a sales tactic and say, "Look, we do some really cool things for them. This is one of them." Yeah.
Good idea. Well, we took them all from you, Caleb. How about you, buddy? Took all the good ideas. You're muted, buddy. No, you're not. Huh.
Okay. I'll go ahead and pick up for Caleb here then. So, Brad, you already mentioned the member soaring tour, and that is an incredible tour, especially over at California. If you can do that, a gentleman named Mark runs the tour there. It is phenomenal. It's probably the number one thing I've ever done in my entire Disney career and fandom. It's that awesome.
That's
okay.
Cool.
He was telling me as well that they do an occasional cast member reward. Like if you're really getting high praise from cast members and your peers and management and a whole lot of cast compliments, you can get nominated to go to this backstage tour that happens over at Haunted Mansion. And so they do the same tour just for cast members over at Haunted Mansion. And to me, that would just be like, mind blown. Awesome. Okay. To be able to come back into it with the lights on and all of the engineering and the stories and be able to walk through it and see everything, that would just be so incredibly cool. And so I'd love to be able to do that one. And then I think more of those backstage tours. Okay. And they don't even have to take us backstage. This is just me weird being an operations guy from the call center stuff. I would love it if they just said, "Hey, we're doing a member event in Community Hall one day, and we're just going to tell you about hotel operations. Like, this is what goes on to make DVC magic happen here at your resort. So how many towels they do, how much soap they use, just like high level operational things along those lines, not industry secrets. You don't have to take us into the closed door corridors, but there in the resorts, but just share a little magic of everything that has to go back on to pull off a DVC vacation." Because every single business MBA type that I have went through the parks with just sits there and they're just mind blown, jaw dropped, like what it takes to run these parks and the operations that it does. And they have this system down, so polished and so perfected. Make a little event and teach us a little bit of that. Okay. Doesn't really cost anything. Some sign up time and member services, some time to come back in and write that. But I think that would be a really cool membership perk and extra to come in forward again. And then again, I want lounges everywhere. Okay. I want to feel like I have something exclusive for that DVC membership perk. And I'm perfectly fine with keeping it a blue card deal because I know the economics of how those get paid for.
Exactly.
Yeah. Disney Vacation Club development, the people who sell new timeshares take some of their profit and use this as a marketing expense to come back in and market the program. So I'm perfectly fine with them limiting it to people who have bought points directly from them. So that's kind of my thoughts. Caleb, did you get your tech worked out? Or you got anything to share?
I hope so. Can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Well, one thing that I'm really hoping to come back, and it's, is the early and late entry into the parks. And, they kind of threw us a bone and said sometime later they're going to have 30 minutes at every single park. But what I'm hoping for is, or what I'm would like to see going forward, is more of a DVC exclusive perk of getting in even earlier than that. So then maybe we would have the full hour, even if it was just at one park or something. DVC members get in 30 minutes before on-site guests or something. That's really, more time in the park when there's not a bunch of people. That would be the best perk for me. And then I can go back to the resort and just hang out.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Mark was saying DVC is still the best bang for your buck when booking Disney with both, with or without the perks. It certainly is, but we like our little things extra. Derek was just saying blue cards for everybody. Derek, that ain't going to happen, buddy. Ron was just saying, just bring back the APs. Please. Yes, I know. I bought an AP to SeaWorld, and I'll probably take my family there for the simple fact that we do not have our annual passes back. And they won't sell them to me, and I won't buy individual tickets. So, and Kathy saying she's so grateful she just renewed her annual pass this past week. And another comment with agreeing with Derek. Holly Austin is saying, Marianne, that we did get the 7-layer cake at the Wave in December. So it sounds like some Wave reservations are in our future. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you can get the Wave to go, so you can get the 7-layer cake, to go.
It wasn't
Yeah.
on, but it wasn't on their mobile order because I have looked and looked trying to figure that out.
You probably have to
It's-
call them or go up to the podium or something.
Probably.
Yeah. And then Zach is saying, number 1, AP availability for DVC members and discounts. Number 2, Moonlight Magic, H2O Glow Nights. And 3, guaranteed spots and or DVC tour discounts.
Oh,
So
There you go.
yes, give us an early day on booking, everything. Fast passes, an early day extra booking on, restaurants. Just that doesn't cost anything else. Okay. Throw it out there as something that this is for Vacation Club to reward us for our loyalty.
Or bring
And-
back the ability to make our dining reservations for split stays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, without having to game that, because I'll game it and get it. But so Andrew is saying DVC members should get extra fast passes. I don't think it would cost Disney any extra money to do, and would give us a much better experience at the park. Maybe, I know this might be unpopular, but make it a blue card exclusive. I got no problem with blue card exclusives. I really don't. So, but I'm with you, Andrew. A 4th pass, even if it was like a C or D ticket ride, doesn't even have to be a
Yes.
full E-ticket one. Give us a 4th one for something, and that'd be awesome. And so let's see. Ron is also saying, would love to see Moonlight Magic events and member events come back as well. And then Annette is saying from Lakeland, Florida, I want Moonlight Magic to come back. I went to at least one at MK last March before the shutdown. We all want Moonlight Magic to come back. Those are phenomenal events. You cannot beat them. And then Grant was just saying he loved the luggage system in Magical Express, would love for a new system to evolve like this. It felt like a VIP service. That is very true, Grant. That was, you really felt like you're paying a lot to be at Disney, but you really felt like you were getting something special with that kind of white glove luggage service.
Well, not only that, I think sometimes just makes life so much easier when you've got a family. When you're hauling babies and strollers and all of that, it's one less thing that you have to worry about.
And can I
Yeah.
say, me with just my wife and the 2 of us.
Mhm.
I love it because I can. It's just so, it makes your trip start so relaxed right away. Now it's, well, how, I got to book another thing. I got to go somewhere else to get on.
Yeah.
I hate seeing that go. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes they've made through this.
It lets vacation mode start right when you get to the gate at the airport. Okay. Because
Exactly.
you're done. You've got to where you've got to be, right?
Yep. And it's
You've made it. Okay.
Yep.
You've made it to where you got to be.
Even if it
Vacation
comes
mode
back as a
starts.
pay-as-you-go service, something, please don't eliminate it completely. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Chad.
No worries. So Kathy Devlin saying, I love meeting other DVC peoples, and you're absolutely right. They just understand you. That's a comment for Amy. And then Steve says 100% agree, a DVC lounge in every park. Again, that's a staffing issue and a space issue, but I think it's something that could be pulled off if we did it a little better, okay? Rebecca saying, when they bring back an extra Fast Pass member for DVC members. And then Grant was saying that he loves the members get together every week at Alani. They could expand it to all resorts in Walt Disney World, Disneyland. They used to have those. They were like,
I was going to say.
Mhm.
from what I understand, they were like a weekly member mixer, and it seems like over at the boardwalk. And then prior to Moonlight Magic, I think when Moonlight Magic came out, they used the bunny. They shifted funds and budget to pay for that party over to Moonlight Magic.
It'd be a good use of Reunion Station, since they're really not using it for anything right now.
Yeah, they've tried to do a lot of things at reunion stations, and it just hasn't taken off. So, Antoinette was saying, I would like to see them keep the 30% discount off merchandise permanently.
I'd
Where's that
settle
new-
for 20. I'd settle for 20 all the time, and then
There you
surge discounting every once in a while and throw it up to 30.
We pretty much do get 20 all the time.
Yeah, I
so,
thought it was 20. And merchandise is 20 all the time, isn't it?
yeah,
So
merchandise is.
Yeah.
Food is like 10, okay? And that was an AP, but extended for DVC members as well. Grant saying, totally agree with expanding lounges to every park. And then Kathy says, any wonder why there's not a DVC entrance only at the park? Maybe it's just not necessary and there isn't enough of us, but it's just a thought. So that could be, right? I know the AP line, it's there, but they really don't say, you don't have an AP, get out. Okay.
No.
So,
And sometimes that AP line's longer than the regular line.
Yeah.
but you can almost always be sure the people in the AP line know how to get past the fingerprint game, whereas other people are like, what? I supposed to do what? And you're like, oh my gosh, get out of my way.
yeah, you would.
Oh,
hope
wait.
that
I will
No
say-
patience.
know how to do the
No
whole-
patience tonight.
Hollywood Studios.
Well,
I was
hopefully
going to
they
say,
get the
Marianne,
facial
you're the
recognition
reason
thing
nobody can
going.
bring a weapon to Disney.
No patience, do I?
no post office action. Okay.
No patience.
Sorry.
And then Lori speaks up and she says the last weekly was at the Atlantic Dance Hall.
Oh.
That's right.
Atlantic Dance Hall was always empty otherwise.
Well,
Oh.
And then Facebook user says 20% on Shop Disney all the time would be stellar. And they
Yes.
also like the lounge idea. And so it looks like Catherine is saying, Marianne, that's exactly right until they know how to go through,
Yes.
right?
Good Lord.
can't move it, people.
Okay, well, that pretty much wraps up our show tonight, and we will be back next week with a top 10 reasons that we love Beach Club. So I'm really excited for that one as well, because I don't even know if we can come up with 10, because I can only think of one, the pool, but
Let's
maybe
more than
two,
that.
location. Right?
Beaches
Other
and
than
cream.
that,
Beaches and
Right.
cream being right there. I think Katie Tracy would say that's a vote.
yeah, maybe beaches.
Hey,
and
don't
cream
give it
will be-
all away yet.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never stayed there, so
Oh yeah.
but maybe I'm staying there in June.
Yeah, maybe not, right? So I'm on team not there. So anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in this week. I'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors, DVC Rental Store, DVC Resale Market, and Monera Financial. Can't give them enough shout outs and thanks for supporting season 5 of the My DVC Points podcast. If you use their services, be sure to give them a shout out as well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you found something in today's show that'll help you go out there and plan something magical for your family. And have a great night, everybody.